Hi guys! Jake and MJ back again for more live reactions to Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Throw 'em away. Hopefully that worked. It's every now and again, I'm still getting used to the Streamlabs connection, and things are a little weird. So there's you probably got the little thing at the top while we were thinking that we were still connecting. Not really sure. Because apparently, I don't know what the deal is, but for some reason, I can hit go live on Streamlabs, and it'll say that it didn't work. But then it's like, oh, but I am now connected to YouTube, so now I need to go hit go live on YouTube.
Not Tacos has returned.
Yes.
The donations leaderboard still appears to be showing the people from last week. I hope that's working. Nobody's donated yet this week, so I don't know if it takes a donation for it to reset or what.
I will leave that up to you.
I will check on it if necessary. Until we've had a donation, I won't be able to tell.
All right. So
let's talk about that.
Yes. We are continuing with our donations, just as we were raising funds through the big live stream last weekend. We've decided to keep that link open throughout our regular live reactions. So that means that you can still donate to wegotthevote.org through our streamable PayPal link below. And it should be accessible to you. There you go.
If this works the way we hope it will, the top 3 people for today's stream should
pop up in the leaderboard. It's still showing the 3 people who were at the leaderboard for the last stream. Still getting the hang of all this.
Nobody's donated yet this stream, so I don't know if it takes a starting donation to reset the leaderboard.
Yeah, we're still figuring out this technology. So
it's automated.
So we still do have the little Starman that will pop up for the live stream.
If it turns out to be broken,
the recorded version will not be having the leaderboard elements.
Yeah, you can't see this if you're watching the recorded version. You know what else you can't see if you're watching the recorded version?
Yeah. Hit the little test there.
You can't see this.
We do still have the little Starman widget for whenever we get a new donation. So we're hoping that we can keep that rolling. And yes, this is again to raise funds for people who had already paid their debts to society and were supposed to have their voting rights restored according to the ballot measure from 2 years ago. But the state is laying on additional caveats saying they need to pay off all their fines and legal fees first. So we're raising money to help people do that so that everyone in Florida can vote in the next election.
So now, in addition to the chat, I also have the Streamlabs dashboard up over here.
Okay.
Which means that I will be able to tell what's going on during today's chat.
Good.
During today's
live reactions. So we're getting the hang of this.
Except that
it's still new to us, and we do have the reward in mind that this time round, whoever is at the top of the leaderboard when we get to the end of this episode of Beast Morphers is going to be able to call in, whether it's via Skype, Discord, whichever means we have.
On Jake's phone again.
And we will discuss with you our thoughts on the episode, your thoughts on the episode. So if you would like to, speak with us more directly and have your voice heard in the live reactions, you should absolutely donate.
And shortly before the stream, it looks like we got a subscriber. So I'm going to replay because before the stream started, we got a subscriber.
Yes.
And show you what happens when we get a new subscriber during the stream.
I just realized I left
your phone somewhere?
Yes. From when we were getting things ready. So I'll let you hit the little practice
hit the thing.
thing.
It just takes a little while.
Oh, okay. So let me see where
it's not the practice one.
There it is. My phone was behind the laptop.
I hit the
So now I have that if need be. So also in other news, I know that this was that this weekend there was all sorts of stuff with Hasbro going on. I'm sure they made various announcements regarding some franchise or another. I don't know. What does Hasbro own? There's something with giant robots, right? I want to say they transform into things.
Yes, they do.
They got some dinosaurs sometimes. Yes, obviously, the big reveal today was that the Power Rangers Dino Fury cast has been introduced. At least the initial first three Rangers. Oh.
Let's turn that on.
Okay.
Let's try that again.
Oh, by the way, I have no idea how. Oh, okay. So this is
mouse.
On. Fair enough. I wasn't sure if it was on or not.
Do we need to do something to make this the change that I made to that thing go?
I do not know. You would know better than me. You're the one who's been playing with it today.
Well, where's the 2 boxes thing?
I don't know. That's interesting.
Because I made a change to the alert box.
Yeah.
To turn subscriptions on.
Right.
Subscribers on.
Right.
And.
Okay.
I'm trying to. There it goes.
Oh, there it goes. There we go. So there is our new subscriber, Elvin Rapp. So.
That's from 2 days ago.
Happy birthday to your mom, Chris.
Esteban.
But yes.
There's Esteban.
Oh, there we go. Esteban Jacobo.
He was from right before the stream.
One of those. I'm sorry. I apologize for my bad pronunciations. But yes, we got to see a great panel with the cast of Power Rangers Beast Morphers.
Happy birthday, Chris Taylor's mom.
And we were also introduced to our 3 new Dino Fury Power Rangers, as well as the big trailer for Dino Fury. I'm very interested to see what they end up doing with it. There were a few little things kind of snuck in there, I thought, in the opening sequence that didn't look like they were from Ryu Soldier, and I'm curious what that means moving forward.
Did you put the link in the description for this video?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to see the link below. It's still that same Streamables database ranger.
Streamables?
Or Streamlabs. I keep accidentally saying Streamables all the time. I'm terrible about that.
That's weird.
But yeah. So I know. So we're gonna keep trying to have this rolling. I'm hoping that we get some good donations during the course of this installment of live reactions. If we haven't lost everybody already, and we're gonna keep working to improve this whole interface and this process going into our huge Mighty Morphin live stream the weekend of October 10th through 12th.
Yes, keep adding and making it more streamlined and better.
And if we're able to hit good goals, then it will go that entire weekend. And I'm already got a few guests lined up, hoping to get even more lined up as we get closer to the date.
Oh, nice.
So, with all that said, no, the 8 games. I didn't see that Hasbro used fan subs for the trailer. That's hilarious. But I did see that you are coming right up on 100,000 subscribers for your channel, so congratulations to you. You're showing us up. Alright, so I think now is a great time to kick things off with our 3 non-controversial statements that we should all consider equally non-controversial. First up, say it with me, chat. Black Lives Matter. Next up, say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. And third up, say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. And I think that now is a good time to kick off episode 41 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Fossil Frenzy. I'm using a slightly different mouse than I usually do, so There we go. They're going for full-on ninja training. Oh, this is fun. Woo! Robbie's first down. Oh, Nate is down, and Zoe's down. Devin is a good fighter. Oh, this is good. Zoe has a brother? What's going on here? family members. We have so many family members this season.
Ooh.
Really? Huh.
Vulturesaurus.
Vulturesaurus. Huh. But yeah, they really are pushing, continuing to push dinosaurs.
Yeah. Despite this not being a particularly dinosaur-based Sentai.
Right. I'm curious. Nice. Nice.
The chat says Zoe's mentioned her brother before.
Oh, okay. I'd forgotten about that.
He's gonna be so disappointed if he finds out that it's just a normal.
I'm trying to think on the context
like
where he may have been mentioned before.
Triceratops claw or something.
Oh, what are they upset by? What's going on with these two?
He lost the dog.
Oh, okay. Hey, pup. No, it's a cute little puppy. What? How did he get? Why did he grab the? What?
And then jump back up on the log.
That was a little strange. Okay.
Why are you back on the log, Robbie?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what context she may have mentioned her brother before, because I think you're right. I'm just trying to think on when it was and what context.
Is it just me, or is this the first time that we've seen him getting his Morphex through like every single hairdo?
I mean, that's fair. We do usually see it through a few of them, but not quite so many at once.
He was like totally hooked up today. Oh yeah, just say that out loud.
That was a weird little like, sudden aside
like
there.
They can't hear you. They're right there.
I love the blooper reel that we got to see in the panel today, where
stabbing gorilla.
Yeah, and Jax, the one bit where Jax's head just fell off.
Oh, she's gonna use the DNA scanner.
No, that's the bottom a little bit. Okay.
She's gonna wreck it.
Okay. That's acid.
Orange bottle, not orange liquid. That's in a clear acid. Bottle.
Read the label.
No.
Look at the label.
Orange bottle.
That is
not
acid.
Clear bottle with orange liquid.
That is acid. Pick up everything from that table now. That's also move everything. Move things. Why are you stop? Just go get the thing. Get the thing. We're Rangers. Bow, wow. Go Power Rangers. Go. Go. It's morphin' time. For justice we fight. With beast morphin' mind. Together we rise. Bow, wow, 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 wow. Go Power Rangers. Go Power Rangers. Power Rangers beast morphers.
Yeah, get it off the table.
Come on, move it. No. Oh, she could have gotten it.
She could not have gotten it. It had already touched one end.
Also, just
this is some really crazy acid.
I'm so sorry, Zoe.
That was painful. That was very painful to watch.
Also, what is that table made of?
I don't know. It's so weird that it just went straight through.
It went straight through a glass tray, which is presumably borosilicate, because this is a lab.
Right. Like, it dissolved the tray, but it didn't dissolve the table, and I'm wondering about the different materials there, and this is, oof.
I can't either, Spencer. I can't either.
Oof. gotta go back to that mountain now. Get a new fossil. That's what's happening. She's gonna hop up there because she can do her jumpy jumps. It's still painful. I'm trying to think what this fossil could connect to, as far as like footage goes. It's clear, like he said, it was some sort of pterodactyl thing
that he was calling the
like Vulturesaurus. Yeah, he's upset. Yep. She's got to go up to the thing.
Okay. Well, your friend could go with you while you fix it. That's legit.
Yeah. But this does seem in character for her to want to take it on herself. Wait.
How is it in the news if they haven't even confirmed it yet?
It's weird.
Somebody is a terrible journalist.
Very strange. Oh. That was a weird little zoom in. Some of the camera stuff they're doing with Roxy this episode is just kind of odd. Okay, I feel like there's got to be a better way that this could be managed.
Oh, and she's broken her communicator.
Oh, that's just bad. Also, like, you do have a bunny copter. I feel like the bunny copter could help. I mean, I guess that would be a personal gain kind of thing.
Also, I feel like she's not properly dressed for free climbing right now.
Everything about this is a bad idea. Good for you.
I hope not. Spring Rabbit's about to get cooked.
Yep.
Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah. Things are not good ideas here. There we go.
Please.
Chopper's Zord.
Especially since apparently it's not on the bluff. It's at the top.
Yeah, this thing is...
You totally could have taken the chopper.
Yeah. It's kind of a crazy geological
Get in the
creature.
chopper!
That is fair. In Jurassic Park, helicopter wind would have damaged the bones. And this is an exceptionally large helicopter, so that's a good point there. Bingo. Oh, okay, the site. How do you get all this equipment up here? Oh, wow. The whole thing's still here. What? What?
She's just trying to take one bone out.
Okay. Just like the whole thing was here? Oh, that. Why did you spark like that?
Same thing you are. Jinx.
Nice. She's doing the DNA scan. What could...
Oh, okay. As the chat has pointed out, because Jax was currently undergoing maintenance, the helicopter was out of use.
Oh, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. There we go. It's good they've got backups of all this stuff. And she's still got her flower power. But apparently now she's gonna have the Vulturesaurus power, which is interesting. I guess that's how they're addressing the other animal elements that she develops.
Tronics really do have teleportation abilities.
Yeah.
I bet you Roxy didn't even have to climb this lift. She just came into this dimension in the right place already.
Exactly.
I hope their mom is a television news reporter. Their mom wouldn't be able to publish it to the paper in a properly structured journalistic system.
That's fair. Nice.
He works for the TV news, not the newspaper.
Okay. Yeah. She's got to grab the little claw thing. That was in very light soil there.
No, looks like he did a really good job excavating.
Yep. Again. I thought it was fully restored earlier.
Yeah.
I wonder which Gigadrone it's going to be. Fun times. Oh yeah, it was fun. It was fun seeing everybody in the Beast Morphers panel try and imitate Blaze yelling Kryptronics. Oof. That is all over the place. Nice. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more Vulture-y than I actually recalled. And considering it also has snake elements. Whoa. Oh. Oi. Well, I guess this is going to be the last episode for Roxy. We'll see.
Are we that close to the end of the series?
Well, we only have 3 more episodes after this.
Oh boy.
Smells like teenagers. She got the replacement. Yes. Yes.
She mentioned her brother and a friend in need.
Oh, last season. Okay. Nice. Yeah. She got the DNA scan, of course. Makes sense.
Laundry emergency.
Yep. Always gotta move fast for those laundry emergencies. Nice.
I love how her
Everything
family
sort of
thinks she
worked
still
out.
works in the laundry.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, guys. If you want to be part of if you want to call in for discussion at the end of the episode,
you don't have to beat Seamus. You just have to beat each other.
Yeah.
I don't seem to be able to clear this at the moment.
Even $1, $5, whatever it is you want to donate would be useful and helpful. Morphin' time. I mean, it doesn't look anything like a dinosaur, but I'll roll with it. It's just got huge claws and wings and craziness. Yeah, I wonder how they're going to handle the ending. Oh, hello. This is a nice little fight here.
His promoting it. They did not discuss grid connection as a favorite because nothing about Finders Keepers has been discussed.
Fair enough. Oh my. There we go.
Yeah, raptors are technically descended of dinosaurs. That's
true.
Correct. I mean, that's why velociraptors are raptors, and so are, hawks and falcons and other predatory birds.
Yep. She's got a little bit more by way of fur and feathers than one would anticipate.
Actually, as it turns out, dinosaurs were feathery.
Not too furry, I think.
No, but very feathery. I'm not sure you
there
have
we go.
any idea what power sustain is.
Nice.
Hey, nerdy.
Welcome.
Big yikes.
Big yikes indeed. Big yikes indeed. Giant Roxy. Nope. But I do like how Robo Blaze and Robo Roxy have gotten increasingly desperate over the course of this series.
Can they use the line to make a Megazord in the absence of?
Yes. It just takes the place of the Red Zord. In this case, they're using it to make the Ultra Zord.
Because Devin's not here right now.
Yep. Not particularly agile.
No, it doesn't look particularly agile.
So again, for those of you who are just joining, if you do wish to donate through our Streamlabs link, you may. It is encouraged, and whoever donates the most by the end of the episode will get to call in to talk to us
about the episode. And that is the most for today, not
most for today.
You do not have to beat these folks up here.
So whatever it is that you feel you can donate, very much encouraged, very much appreciated.
And still going to wegotthevote.org.
Yes.
We'll be collecting for them up until the voter registration deadline.
Yes. Oof. I think that's it for Robo Roxy.
Yep. Down she goes.
Scrozzle just spilled the beans there.
Yeah, he did.
So what now? Crazy. So, yeah.
Tried to go it alone.
Yeah. I like that Zoe finally got, like, a proper solo focus episode this season.
Is that one guy just, like, pumping up a bicycle tire? What was this business?
I don't know. Oh, no, he's lifting. Congratulations, Mike.
That's
good for you.
An awfully fast turnaround on that decision. I mean, yes, he does deserve it, but usually it's like, yeah, we'll get back to you in a month.
Nice. No, Devin's got some focus this season.
And the dog is going to trip him.
Yep. Oh, no. Well, no, the dog would freeze him. What is that?
Right, he has dog fear.
Yeah, well, it's the dog weakness.
So he froze. We couldn't stop him from taking the hot dog.
Yeah. What? 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 Was this dog trained to have thumbs? Is that something you can train a dog to do? What? Okay. Okay. So there we go.
Alright. Just in case this is discouraging anyone.
Alright. Well, I think you turned off...
The litter box. Oh.
No, you turned off the image. You didn't turn off the... There you go. Alright. So that was a little weird.
A little bit.
But yeah, that marked the end for Roxy.
Roxy be gone.
And while I'm a little torn because I liked a number of elements with regards to the final last hurrah of Roxy, but for some reason it didn't quite hit. And I'm not quite sure why. Like it, part of it was we could kind of tell it was telegraphed that this was going to be it. We have three episodes left after this. And I can think of some of the stuff that we're going to be seeing in those 3 episodes.
Yes, the dog made Devin freeze.
Yes.
He has that weakness.
Also, there was.
I guess since no donations, no call-in.
It's okay. If obviously you guys all contributed last week, so you've made your contributions to the cause, and we appreciate that. We're going to keep making things available, and we do want to keep that reward in place in case anybody would like it.
I'll see if I can make the other thing go a little less weird. Because honestly, no one was going to beat the stuff from the big stream.
Right.
We were looking for things like, $1, $4,
exactly.
$3.
It did feel like it was rushed, and I think part of that was because it was, this was Roxy's big farewell, but it was also...
You can make the corgi go off by subscribing, though.
That's true. If you haven't subscribed already.
Subscribing is free. If you haven't done it yet, you can make the corgi go off. He paddles his little legs.
It's very cute. But it was, I think it was undermined a little bit in that it was also a sort of standalone Zoe focus episode. I thought they were tied together fairly well. I'm trying to think why it was that this one didn't quite hit, though. And I'm not sure. And it's just kind of nibbling at the back of my mind.
Nibbling?
Yeah, it's nibbling at the back of my mind.
Like a dog nibbling at a hot dog?
Yes, like a dog nibbling at a hot dog in the back of my mind. Which is weird in and of itself. So predictions for the final arc based off this episode? Well, I have ideas in terms of where some things are going. And
they're gonna beat Evox.
That's presumably the thing. And I'm assuming that...
and before they beat Evox...
They'll probably finish off Robo Blaze.
Beat Blaze.
Yeah, I'm expecting that the big final fight with Enter from Go Busters will probably be addressed prior to the big final fight with Evox.
Right.
And I mean, everyone kind of has been hyping up. There's some big reveals for those last few episodes, and I'm curious to see what they are.
It's true. The Roxy thing didn't have the same emotional tether as it did before because regular Roxy's A-okay, whether or not Robo Roxy's did.
And I think part of it was... I think part of it was this. The previous time that Roxy was destroyed, at the end of last season, it was an emotional thing for Robbie. He'd been pushed into it, and it was an emotional thing for him to destroy the avatar of Roxy. But that has a little less weight to it.
Power Rangers has had a good track record with viruses. I think we've killed every virus that's happened.
Well, I mean, there was that one that did kind of kill a lot of other people first.
They did imply that he was only trapped in a morpher. That's true.
Well, more so it's that Venjix,
did cause an apocalypse.
Did cause an apocalypse first.
It would have been more satisfying if real Roxy had been involved in destroying Robo.
That would have been great.
Yeah,
I love that. That's just a concept that I love. Thank you for bringing that idea into my mind, because I love that as an idea.
Final Beast Morphers stream prediction date 10/17/20.
Actually, it'll probably be
pushed out a little bit by
the week after that, because we have the big stream going on the week before that. So we're gonna have two streams of Beast Morphers. So we have this live reaction, we have next week's live reaction. Then we're going to have the big MMPR live stream for voting on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, and hopefully 12th if we're able to raise enough funds. And then we'll have 2 more Beast Morphers left to go after that. But I felt like it wasn't an emotional thing for the Rangers to take down Robo Roxy, because they've done it a number of times, and they were able to do it in this case with fairly little fanfare.
No more General Burke.
I think it's that I think his actor made his last appearance.
Okay.
I mean, they talk him.
Yeah, they were talking about him this episode. They were talking for Dad. Final reaction will be.
When they're doing Grid Connection. I suppose. Let me think on that for a moment. So I know that.
Is that another weekend?
Yeah, well, I know today was Intruder Alert, I believe, which means that next week will be Greater Good, and then following that should be Finders Keepers, which would be when. So and then, yeah, Grid Connection will be airing the same day that we're looking at the finale. That's cool. I like that. So that's nifty timing. And then, so the first...
Oh, Grid Connection was an episode.
Yes.
I'm like, what is that? Another con?
No.
Con? Are we up against
the episode, the big crossover episode.
Cool.
The Dino crossover episode that we saw. But yeah, it wasn't... Like, the Rangers didn't even realize it was the end of Robo Roxy until, like, afterwards. And they're like, oh, that was actually it. Oh, okay. And it's just, it feels...
No, they had that conversation beforehand.
No, it was after they destroyed her.
Oh.
They didn't realize that was going to be it.
That's true. But they'll know when they destroy Blaze.
Yes.
That's going to be a little less impressive, though, because he can't go giant.
Yeah, but he was probably going to break something out. But
the last 2 episodes are a 2-parter and everything but name.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of times finales do tend to function that way.
Yeah.
But I think some other elements of it was that episode in Go Busters was a lot more emotional.
Be right back.
All right, I'll see you in a moment, huh? All right. Because we had, over the course of the episodes leading up to the destruction of Escape, Escape was presented increasingly sympathetically across the course of those episodes. And we didn't really have that so much with Robo Roxy. She didn't have that same sort of arc to her. So what we did see was her getting increasingly desperate to prove herself, but it was also something that wasn't really presented quite so clearly, in that we weren't quite sure of the stakes in regards to this. We didn't fully know why she was getting so desperate. That, I felt, wasn't fully communicated. She wanted to prove herself. She was determined to prove herself. But I didn't feel like the reasoning behind that was tremendously clear. And so the stakes were a little vague as a result. Now, the fact that, it was going to be her last hurrah, those stakes were presented clearly. But, I don't know, it still felt like it wasn't a level of stakes that was felt on both sides. I feel like the Rangers really needed to be pushed to the edge in some way for it to feel like an appropriate conclusion for Robo-Roxy, considering how we saw in with Avatar Roxy last season, where the Rangers were pushed to the edge, and Ravi was willing to go farther than he'd ever gone before to destroy her. And we didn't really have that moment here this season with this episode, where she was pushing them to the point where they really had to pull out the stops to beat her. She grew and turned into a giant, but functionally, in terms of the interaction, she was still. It was like fighting a standard monster.
Have you heard of Marcus Digital?
Marcus Digital. I'm not sure. Marcus Digital? I'm not familiar with Marcus Digital.
If you could make a sequel to any Power Rangers series, which would it be?
Ooh. I mean,
I'd make a sequel to RPM.
I've kind of been working on. I mean, Grid Defense in and of itself was presented as sort of a sequel to RPM, and then Power Reviews is sort of a joint sequel to RPM and Power Rangers in Space.
Apparently, Mr. Pickles is an adult-swim animated show about a serial killer dog.
Oh, okay.
They may have been referencing that.
Good to know. I'm not familiar with any of that, but good to know.
The General's dog is a serial killer.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. The whole thing with the dog was just sort of, it kind of came and went. I felt like there were a few too many...
It became a little too absurd at the end when he was squeezing ketchup on the hot dog.
I felt like there were a few too many elements that didn't quite tie together.
It would have played better to me if they had just opened it up and he was in there trying to look innocent, but with like a mustard ring around his mouth.
Yeah.
Because I think he had mustard on his hot dog.
I feel like the dog, with the whole dog thing didn't really tie in with everything else that was going on. Like, it was cute, and it was funny, hearkening back to Devin's weakness, which I presume this is a sign that that's going to be relevant again soon.
They just wanted to remind us.
But I don't know if that necessarily really ended up contributing to this episode, which was already fairly busy with the whole Roxy focus and the Zoe focus and everything with the regards to the dinosaur.
I'm not sure I would say RPM ended on a cliffhanger. It just ended with the door open for a sequel possibility.
Yeah. With more of a teaser.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to... Oh, yeah, rotisserie, I like that idea, too. If Human Roxy had been...
The one who had accidentally destroyed the fossils.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a good idea.
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily make sense for her to be working in the lab, but if she'd been tied into this episode in any way, I think that would have been an improvement.
Yeah, bringing Human Roxy into the equation in any way would have been an improvement. Absolutely.
Because we had Robo-Roxy just so divorced from regular Roxy without really having developed her as a separate character.
Oh, jeez. We've done it once already. We don't need to do it twice.
Yeah. I feel like there was this pseudo attempt to develop Robo-Roxy as a character that is, very separate and distinct from Roxy and Avatar Roxy. But I feel like it wasn't distinct it wasn't distinct enough to feel like she's completely divorced from her past self.
Especially since she also, so she used that against Ravi in Ravi's Focus episode.
Yeah. Like, there were a number of things where this episode felt like it was handled largely well, but for some reason just didn't quite land, and I'm sort of circling around why that was. And it comes down to, you know, that feeling of stakes and investment that wasn't quite there.
Are the red and yellow Go-Buster suits with white visors?
Where they begin?
I don't remember these other Go-Buster suits with white visors.
Oh, Dobutsu Sentai Go-Busters. The crossover movie with an alternate universe version of themselves.
Oh.
That could have been fun. But yeah, it's tricky. This is one of those things where, like, everything was more or less well thought out, but it wasn't fully aligned in terms of the sense of dramatic tension and stakes. I saw somebody do a video on YouTube a little while back comparing The Dark Knight to The Dark Knight Rises. Or no, not The Dark Knight to The Dark Knight. It was comparing the works of Christopher Nolan and how he can do a really good job building up tension through intercutting of different actions all taking place at the same time. If any of you have seen, the film The Dark Knight, there's the whole scene where the Joker is threatening the two different
No, don't
berries.
turn me up. We'll get copy striked because I was singing a song.
Yeah. With the two different boats. And it's happening at the same time that Batman is racing to stop the Joker. And it's happening at the same time that Harvey Dent has become Two-Face and is going on his spree.
That seems,
you have three different things going on.
Excessive.
But those three different things are all connected to each other. Those are all things that is the Joker's obvious plan going to succeed? Is Batman going to be successful in stopping him? And is Joker's long game plan going to succeed? All of these are similar pieces in one grand game that are all coming together at once. And so they each kind of build upon and heighten each other.
True.
And they were showing a different scene in Interstellar where it was Matthew McConaughey's character was racing to try and make sure they could get off this planet because they had been betrayed and they were trying to get back to their ship and there was the danger of being left behind. And those stakes were very obvious. Meanwhile, at the same time, it was being intercut with a scene of his daughter back on Earth trying to decode a secret message, and she had to get into her home to be able to get the right information, but she had to, like, distract her brother so that she could get in there to get that information.
The movie version of Among Us?
And the thing was, okay, yeah, these are two stressful situations going on at the same time, but one is the sort of, okay, it's very clear what the stakes are, it's very clear, what needs to happen, and the other one is just sort of disconnected to it, and the timeline, the urgency of the timeline is not quite so clear, and they're not, converging in terms of the dramatic tension. I believe it was Lessons from a Screenplay, I think, was going over that. And this was sort of the same kind of thing. We had the whole tension of, will Zoe be able to scale the mountain and get the fossil back to her brother before her brother's
of course she will.
Big thing? Which, and of course she will. That's not really the thing. It's, that was the tension of her storyline.
That's what I have to do. They're gonna do it.
And then you have Roxy racing to get more power and take on the Rangers, etc. Going on at the same time, and those converging at the fossil site. But outside of them converging at the fossil site, the timing and tension there was unclear, because, the ticking clock wasn't as clear for Roxy in that moment as it was for Zoe.
Oh.
And then later, we had a new ticking clock for Roxy, but then Zoe had already taken care of her plot line, and so there was no... The points of dramatic tension were out of sync in that way.
And not in the kind of way that creates a wave, either.
Yeah, they didn't feel like they converged.
You don't have to pile them all on top of each other?
Yeah.
But if you don't, then you structure them in such a way that they keep the tension higher.
Right.
But in this case, it was kind of like as opposed to like
the tension on the dramatic tension on Zoe's storyline had dissipated as we were going into Roxy's storyline. And so we'd already sort of calmed down going into Roxy's storyline rather than things ramped up.
You can string your climaxes.
Yeah.
But once you put in a denouement...
Yeah. I mean, it's true we didn't get the full denouement with Mike getting his scholarship until the very end, but it was still...
we got the part where she got him the fossil and told him that it was legit.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the start of the denouement.
Yeah. And so the tension that we really needed going into the Roxy fight wasn't really there, which is unfortunate.
Also like the idea of Megan as the Blue Ranger in the B Squad.
Oh, with the Dobuto Sentai Go Busters. That could be fun.
Roxy, Blaze, and Megan.
Yeah, looking at all these sort of parallel things.
I like it.
So yeah, that's sort of me trying to put my finger on the issues of this episode, because it was good. It was well conceived, fairly well performed. A few bits of weird camera work here and there. Yeah, I got it. So I do like that these episodes are making me dig a little bit deeper to try and figure out where my issues are with them. Yeah, I know. I figured that's what you were getting at. But yeah, I love the footage from Go Busters. I really enjoyed those episodes at the time.
I loved Go Busters.
And part of it was because there was the tension of, okay, this character is, their mind is just disintegrating, and everyone's trying to get her to stop before she basically is getting into self-destruction. And
like whoever made Go Busters saw RPM.
Yeah, I got that too.
And tried to be like, hey, what if we could do?
Yeah, I get that.
Darker and edgier.
But yeah, the idea that she was risking her own destruction, I felt, although it was made clear that it was happening, the tension behind that.
Well, the tension wasn't there because she was just so sure.
She was extremely confident.
She was just like, yeah, that doesn't matter. I'm not gonna die.
Yeah. And I think maybe if there was like a closer relationship between her and Blaze and Robo Blaze, maybe that would have we would have felt a little bit more about her going down. Like because those two have been through a lot together. They're kind of treated as a unit, but we didn't really get to see them bond as characters. And we don't really know how Blaze feels about Roxy in terms of, okay, is this a rival that he wants to get rid of? Is this a partner that he can't do without? Like, they kind of ride that line. And because that relationship isn't really very clearly developed, and hasn't really had a chance to because they get destroyed all the time, we don't really get a good feel for how Blaze felt right there about Roxy getting destroyed. Yeah. Like, he was clearly upset by it, but we don't really know to what extent. It's like,
I don't know if it was a personal thing or just oh man.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we just lost it. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
This is what happens when you blow up the Scrozzle machine.
As opposed to
I'm gonna be next.
As opposed to a true investment in, the loss of a friend or a partner or someone who, he had an emotional investment in.
They really saw each other as partners.
They didn't.
They were more like rivals.
Exactly, and so...
So on the one hand, it was like, my rival's gone. On the other hand, it's like, man, I'm going to be next, because she blew up Scrozzle's machine.
But they also weren't played up like rivals in such a way where he would have been satisfied by her destruction.
No.
He wasn't traumatized by her destruction. And he wasn't satisfied by her destruction. He was mostly disappointed by her destruction.
Yeah.
And that's a weaker emotion.
Fairly indifferent to it, really.
Like, he was bothered by it.
He was inconvenienced.
He was
deeply.
He seemed upset by it, but not like, distraught over it.
Yeah.
Now we might see more from him in the next episode. We'll see how he reacts to the knowledge that he is, functionally now become mortal after being, having the ability to respawn this whole time.
I mean, I think that's a large part of why he bugged out when he did.
Yeah.
I could actually die! I need to leave now.
And if we can dive into a little bit more of that recognition of mortality, I think that'll be a stronger, meatier kind of arc for him in the next episode if we see that. But I wasn't feeling the appropriate levels of desperation that I felt needed to be there for Roxy's defeat. And I wish I had a clearer sort of note for why that was. I've talked around it plenty. I think I've kind of beaten this horse into the ground at this point.
I could bring you some questions from the chat.
Any good questions I've been missing?
Sherry wants to know if you had to make a clip show, what would be your clip show premise?
What would be my clip show premise? Ooh, I'm trying to think. Because honestly, they've explored clip shows in a lot of interesting ways over these last few years.
Any clip show.
I do.
Could be like the Pan Global Games episode, or like Lost and Found in Translation.
I did like how.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, sort of a footage burner kind of thing. Okay, so how would I do a footage burner?
How would you do a footage burner?
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but one of my ideas that I thought would have been interesting when I was sort of brainstorming Grid Defense, I did brainstorm what it would be like if it was a full series. And the way that I would have addressed things would have been trying to see, okay, can we adapt a 50-episode Sentai into a 20-episode season and have it work well? Which it didn't really work in Megaforce and Super Megaforce, and I think we all agree on that.
No to more Halloween Court.
But what I would have done would have been had each cold open be a different episode being adapted than the main episode, so that we were going through things twice as fast in that regard. And I think that's less of a singular footage burner episode and more on how you could be more efficient in a pseudo footage burner kind of season. Like the episode at it was Needletron here, but it was Ravi. It was Blue Buster saving the hospital, and you could have opened on just that scene of that Zord battle, etc., and it just would sort of give you a stronger feel that there are adventures going on off screen, and we're not catching all of them, but we dive in the middle of them each time.
Why do they need clip show episodes if the whole point of Power Rangers is it's 1/3 stock footage?
It still costs money, and clip show episodes are to sort of redistribute their cost-saving footage into compressed episodes so that they can splurge a little bit more with their budget on other episodes. So it's really about reallocation of budget so that you can make.
You mean for every clip show
certain
you get
episodes
one
shine.
Silver Switch?
Yeah, you get, or a team-up episode, or an original villain, or what have you. Original elements and big original numbers, big original sequences, are kind of reliant on the existence of clip shows. RPM got a pair of clip shows because they went so hard on trying to create an original world.
Are you counting enacted? That is so weird.
I am.
Because it was behind the scenes, but it wasn't behind the scenes?
Yeah, it was
They're
interesting.
Like, look, it's Gem and Gemma, but here's how we do wire work.
Right. So, those are some of my thoughts on all that.
Sure is Halloween Court.
Yeah. Oh, building damage. That would be fun. That sounds amusing.
I mean, they do a lot of building damage.
Yeah.
That was one thing we used to yell at the Power Rangers about all the time.
Yes. Yes, we definitely did.
Like, you're actual municipal employees and you're destroying the city.
Yeah. I mean...
It turns out that's...
It's one of those things that seemed less realistic...
At the time.
At the time. We're seeing... We've been seeing things more and more.
Moving on.
Anyway. So, I guess that's sort of a good place to kind of leave things off on. This was a solid episode that's mostly interesting because of what it's missing. Because what it's missing is so difficult to identify. And that's one of the things that really made this episode interesting for me. Because I really like digging into what makes an episode work and what makes an episode not work. Because almost everything else about this episode felt like it should have worked. I'm like, at the end of a villain, we got a good, solid Zoe focus. We had some exciting things happen. Dinosaur stuff, family members, cute little thing with the dog. All the elements were there.
I could have done without the catch-up business.
Yeah, we could have had, I think...
The dog was fine until the catch-up business.
I think Power Rangers is a really good example.
Even breaking out of the crate was fine.
Yeah.
But the catch-up was ridiculous.
Power Rangers is a great example of a show where you can really identify when the A and B plot are aligning versus not. And it's really kind of fascinating. A, B, and C. By comparison, like, it kind of reminds me of, I was watching, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers last weekend, as you may have noticed. And I joked that A Star Is Born is, this is the let's see how we can write Tommy out of the episode this time episode. And
isn't every episode, let's see how we can write Tommy out of the episode?
But
wasn't that a conversation you had with Mark?
Right. And it was. But it was beyond that. There was nothing further to the plot really past that point. They just wrote Tommy out of a bunch of stuff, and the Rangers had 2 different fights with monsters that had no connection to anything else that was going on. Sorry.
Say it, don't spray it.
Like Scorpina's pet worm, and then Babe Ruthless. And then I think Scorpina's pet worm came back again. And it was like nothing was aligned in any real meaningful way. And although there was some alignment here with regards to the dinosaur fossil, it didn't feel like a proper alignment of stakes. And that's a tricky thing to do. It's a tricky thing to accomplish because you read through the script and it's not something that jumps out at you and you can't really identify it. And it's because it is something that is not part of any specific element, but more of a holistic pacing.
It's definitely a Saturday for us.
Yes.
Not Sunday.
Although it will be a Sunday when we release the
And
recorded
it's a Sunday
version.
already for Mr. Alvin.
All right. So I think that, as I was saying a few moments ago, that's a good place to wrap things up.
Yes.
So let's kick off our three closing non-controversial statements. Which are, number 1, say it with me in the chat. Love is love. Number 2, say it with me in the chat. Trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say it with me in the chat. Robots are cool. So, Robo-Roxy is no more. So, farewell, Robo-Roxy. And thank you all for joining us. And even if you don't, you don't donate through our Streamlabs link, please, if you are able to at any point,
or just spread the
word, and see if you can raise awareness for WeGotTheVote.org.
They've got link around, even if you don't donate through us.
They've only got about another week or so.
And then they're going to run out of time.
Yeah,
which is why our next big stream will be for a different charity.
Yes. We will still be raising with this at our next live reactions, but but past that weekend,
we're going to have to switch to
spreadthevote.org.
Which is for folks who are already registered to vote, who may not be able to vote because they don't have their photo ID. They're helping people get their photo ID.
So we're trusting you guys to continue to raise awareness for both those charities and for our live stream on the weekend of the 10th.
Wear a mask and wash your hands. That's right, Athena.
Exactly. Be safe out there. I know that we're going to start hitting colder weather again soon, so you're going to need to be extra careful. So we care about all of you. We want you all to stay safe. And let's try and do our best to make sure that everyone's voices can be heard this November. We're going to be talking about it a lot in this ramp up. I've got another video planned that I'm hoping to release maybe this week. We'll see. Maybe a take of an indeterminate temperature. But until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. So, have a great night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Sheree. Good night, Chris Taylor. Good night, Mr. Almond.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Robo Roxy. Yes, that's right, Athena.
Good night,
Devious.
Good night, Dustin. Good night, Athena. Good night, Spencer.
Good night, Moon.
Good night to one and all. And I will end the stream.
Oh, good luck with that 5 a.m. shift.
Oof.